r/AskReddit by Reddit Stories. What is the wisest thing somebody has ever told you? If you can laugh at yourself, you'll always have something to laugh about. Don't remember who told me that, don't know if they were quoting someone, but it stuck. Sounds like the sickest burn to me. My life is a never-ending sitcom. When I was really young, my father told me this gem. When I was upset about being teased at school, no matter how nice and kind you are, there are always going to be people who don't like you or appreciate what you do. I forget if there was anything else he added afterward. It does sound pessimistic, however I internalized it as, to continuing being kind, and not letting a harsh response or cruel treatment bring me down. I think my dad was trying to teach me not to put too much worth into how much worth others put on me, but focus on my own self-worth. Ultimately, in my own perspective, it did help me keep a positive attitude on life. You can be the ripest, juiciest peach in the world, but there is always going to be someone who hates peaches. Yeah, agreed. I have parents who will deny every good thing I've done for them to the point I stopped caring. I probably sound up my ass, but I help because it feels good. Humans will hate you regardless, so all you can do is move forward. Never miss a good opportunity to shut the hell up, my dad. Red Foreman has entered the conversation. Lack of preparation on your part doesn't call for an emergency on mine. Fuck, that was my graphic design teacher's motto. I work in IT, and this applies to me at least 10 times a day. Unbelievably true. In the army we used to say, piss poor planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part. The best way to make money in Vegas is to sell light bulbs. Then LEDs came along and ruined it all. We're back to selling hookers and blow, guys. Let's move some stock. A smart man learns from his own mistakes, a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. I use this one a lot in a professional setting, but my take on it is this. A smart person learns from their mistakes. A wise person learns from others. And then there's you. Fuck what others think is manly. I think it's unmanly to let others tell you what's manly. Doing happy things is manly enough. A former classmate I really should have talked to a lot more. I like that. Don't confuse hard work with good work. Or, said another way, don't confuse working hard with working smart. Work smarter, not martyr. Don't confuse motion with progress. In a similar vein, perfect practice makes perfect. Never ask the barber if you need a haircut. A wise man once told me the level of someone's mental breakdown can be measured by the number of inspirational quotes they post. I've never seen someone with their shit together posting inspirational quotes. It's always the dumpster fires. In the same spirit, the stability/quality of someone's romantic relationship is inversely related to the number of posts they make about how great their relationship is. This is a good one, smiley face. What if they were to post such quotes ironically/as a meme? Completely of the rocker or as sane as they come. Oh shit. I've been called out. It's never your successful friends posting the motivational quotes on social media. Maybe because the unsuccessful need the motivation and also have the heart to share it in case anyone else feels as shitty as them. That's true. On the other hand, none of my friends is successful. So I worked at Arby's back in the day, and we changed company policy to where twice a day, during business, we had to disassemble the slicer completely, clean the whole thing, and put it back together. We were having a manager meeting about implementation of the new policy and what that would look like. I was pointing out every way it wouldn't work. That store was just always busy. You couldn't have people waiting 10 minutes for a roast beef sandwich. Then, one of the other managers said, before we say it's impossible, let's give it a shot. That fucking knocked me on my butt. Up to that point, I was very quick to rule things out over notions that I didn't know, I just felt. And that's not to say I'm a yes man now. Because even my co-manager's statement wasn't saying, we're doing it. It was just, give it a shot. And I really think this has revolutionized my adult life. It started with little things. I'd go see a movie I never heard of. I'd tell a waiter to surprise me when placing my order, because when you have a preference, you're essentially ruling out all other options. And then fast forward, 11 years. And I have my own company now. It's unorthodox. My competitors hate it. And if you told me I had to attribute the course of my adult life to one thing someone told me once, I think that's it. So how did the slicer thing turn out? The second GM I had at Best Buy was like this. If something came from corporate, his response was always, let's try it out, managers and supervisors, you give me feedback in a few weeks and we will go from there. He had some pull with the higher-ups at Best Buy and could usually get away with what he felt was best. If our district manager came in, who was a total fucking moron, he ignored her and did what he wanted. If she complained, he explained why to her and said if she didn't like it she could take it higher up. She never bothered. He was also the manager that instead of trusting the words of a coworker, he heard me out and gave me a chance to prove that what was said against me was wrong. At the end of the time he gave me a $2 an hour raise. That is an awesome story and example. I'm gonna give this a shot. I like this one. In this world, Elwood, you must be oh so smart, or oh so pleasant. Well, for years I was smart. I recommend pleasant, and you may quote me. When I saw this movie, I wasn't expecting it to change my life. Sometimes we don't get what we expect, but we get what we need. Even the world's best ping pong player can't beat a wall, just walk away. Where'd you pick that up? A guy in an office told me this once. Whenever I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And if they would, I do not do that thing. Oh, that's funny. Michael. Identity theft is not a joke. Edit, autocorrect. Marriage isn't 50/50ths, it's 100/100. Got divorced in the last 12 months. This is perfect. People are bastards, they're chocolate-coated bastards with a bastard filling. Bastard-coated bastards. On a side note, I'm touching your creamy center. The harder you work, the luckier you get, Grandma. Good luck is a residue of preparation. Jack Youngblood. The smarter you work and the more open-minded you are, i.e. alert for opportunities, the luckier you get. It makes me sad that I can't award this. It's absolutely beautiful. Everything in moderation, including moderation. My favorite. But who moderates the moderator? Hang loose but don't fall apart. Approach every day like you are the hero of the story. Be the person you've always wished to be. Every day is a new opportunity to become that person. Don't waste another day. Learn to like your coffee black. It'll make your life a lot easier. Why? I feel like I'm missing something here. Only people with big insecurities seriously make fun of people. Reddit cringe subs, nervous sweating. This isn't always the case. Many times yes, but many other times no. When I was very young, a friend once told me, you don't have time, you take time. I had to get well above 25 to understand the meaning of this. If you think about it, do you truly know anyone? Jim Carrey. How can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real? Jaden Smith. You cannot choose what happens to you, but you can choose how you react. You don't need to quit if you don't get addicted in the first place. It seems a little dumb, but it really has changed me. My father told me that. He quit heavy smoking and drinking to be with my mom, cold turkey, and he maintained it the rest of his life. However, he always said if he slipped once, then he would never stop. I'm prone to getting addicted, somewhat, to even minor things, so I fully avoid anything chemically or physically addictive, when possible. As a note, I know some people are at severe disadvantages regarding some addictions, born with one, forced into, etc., and are excluded. The onus would rise up the chain to whomever first decided to start it. Do not fear failure, fear the ability of not trying. My sister once told me that I didn't fear failure, I feared success. I knew how to fail, I didn't know how to succeed, and she was right. Too many people fear failure, I see it all the time. I need to get out of this job, then apply places, you literally have nothing to lose. I want to go back to college, okay, at least take a few practice tests, some free courses, see where you stand, what you need to improve on. Failure is the path to learning, at least part of it. Show me a man who succeeded at everything he did, that man never learned a thing in his life. A man who failed at a lot of things. He's learned many lessons, well, hopefully. If you're questioning whether you should send the email, don't send the email. Don't ever buy anything new. It's untested, untried, and you'll pay twice as much. Wait. Purchase used. Learn what lasts. Learn what you like and what you just thought you'd like. Don't become a consumer. Become an investor. Gisgt Coben, 2001, to LCPL Lunatic Pity. Except for underwear. Say nothing, then nothing can be said. People aren't against you, they're for themselves. I'm a programmer and my boss once told me this. I'm a lazy programmer and I will only hire lazy programmers. Why? Because if you're lazy you'll spend the time to code it right the first time so you don't have to keep going back to it to fix it. And it's true. I've been a lazy programmer since. Also because automating shit is awesome. You're not as high as you think you are when you're up, and you're not as low as you think you are when you're down. Remember son, dying is gay. I love my dead gay son. Stop looking around for the right person and try to be the right person. Good advice, but sometimes hard to achieve. Marry the right person. This determines 90% of your happiness or misery. If you ever think of eating a bullet, just remember if you have the balls to pull the trigger you have the balls to fix shit. Tell the world to fuck off and don't let it break you. Your biggest strength is also your biggest weakness. It doesn't make sense at first, but the more you think about it, the more profoundly accurate it gets. Basically the crux of reality, to every catastrophe there are silver linings, and every endeavor for good a latent tragedy unseen. No response is a response. Seems so obvious now but was life-changing when I heard that and the light bulb went off. Lots of times we hear no response and we don't like it so we persist. Silence speaks volumes. My father's last words to me before he died, remember kid, be nice. To some people he never took shit from anybody and was never fake. He only gave what people deserved. I love you and miss you dad. Former boss and now close friend of mine had a saying, I am 100% responsible for the outcome of this conversation. I first overheard her mumbling it to herself as she was rehearsing some pitch she was about to make to ask her boss for something. I asked her about it, and what she meant by it was simple: no matter how this conversation turns out, I have to take full responsibility for it. If it goes poorly, I don't get to blame the other person and say they were just unreasonable, or I'll never figure out how to get what I need. If I'm going into a conversation, if it's not with a total stranger, then I should know what they want or need to hear to understand my side. If I do that and they disagree, then either I didn't frame my case sufficiently or correctly, or I don't truly understand my own position. And if I am dealing with a total stranger, I need to understand how to present in that context. I've carried that lesson through my entire career, and while I'm not some high-powered CEO, wouldn't want that anyway, the hours suck, I've enjoyed some modest success, and I attribute a great deal of it, almost all of it, to my ability to negotiate and present my arguments in a way that tends to bring leadership around to my way of thinking. That came at the price of hours and sometimes days of introspection, contemplation, consideration, and working to understand others' motivation in order to get what I need. Own your shit. Don't blame your mistakes or failures on others. At the same time, take pride in your accomplishments. Note, there is a dark side to this. You can take it too far, and take too much responsibility. When you're taking the weight of others' mistakes as your own, or crediting someone else over much for your own success, you're doing neither of you a favor. Own your shit, but set the expectation that others own theirs as well. You are in control of your thoughts and emotions, perception is everything. Isn't this essentially classical cynicism? Don't expect anyone else to enforce your personal boundaries. Learning this has saved me a ton of disappointment. Don't try it. Tries it. You were the chosen one. It is easier to get into a situation than it is to get out. My old psychologist. For some people, there's a chemical problem going on, and it causes depression. But for most, it's simply a poor reaction to stressors. You have some really bad reactions to stressors. Reframing how we think about challenges can be super helpful fighting depression. Don't worry about people judging you. If they are judging you, they're not the type of person you want to hang with, so their opinion won't matter. If they aren't judging you, then there's nothing to worry about. If anyone asks you, "Are you mad at me?" for no reason, ask them if they think you should be mad at them. They've usually done something but just too ashamed to admit it. Honestly, no one has told me that. I made it up myself, but I think it's really helpful, lol, so, you're welcome. This isn't always true. For me, I have really bad anxiety and am really insecure, so the second someone's behavior pattern changes on a serious issue, I get worried and ask that. If someone asks, "Should I be mad at you?" I see it as they are mad at me and just aren't telling me why and dodging the question. It just makes things worse. Just be honest and open. But like with one eyebrow raised, like you don't get why they're asking, so they feel like whatever it was wasn't a big deal to you and they're more open to sharing. There are no problems, only solutions. I have a serious drinking solution. In Jamaica they say there are no problems, only situations. We chef. Don't. Nah. My mom always said the worst things happen to the best people, and I keep that in mind a lot. Everything is about patience. There isn't a single thing in life you don't wait for. Grandpa. If you can't buy two of it, you can't afford it. Empathy does not mean you join someone's pity party. Opportunity knocks, but it doesn't beg. So true. When you see it, take it, or it'll be gone. As the ancient Hawaiians used to say, never drink the milk from a coconut you found in the dark. Red Fox, wash your ass. Make yourself the most interesting person, you have to live with yourself the longest. Something to that effect. Might have read it somewhere on Reddit. Don't do meth. There are plenty of good drugs out there. Meth isn't one of them. A wise man once said, "Nothing at all. Do not forget to set a timer on the oven. Mind your own business. And then do it again." When people get hurt, they learn to hate. When people hurt others, they become hated. Something that always stuck with me. One day, I was talking to my old meat department manager about how bad I wanted a promotion. I asked why other people were getting promoted when I was just as a good employee, if not better. He says to me, "You're racing the horses, when you should be racing the race." Basically, stop comparing and competing with other people when you should just challenge yourself for you and nobody else. If you loan someone $20 and they never see you again, you've come out ahead. Only 80% of people will like you. Don't waste your energy on the 20%. Some people are just like that. You've heard you can't please everyone all the time. You can be doing the best, you can be kind and helpful, and some people are still going to shit on you. Help me in retail. If it's wet and it's not yours, don't touch it. If it's wet and it's not yours, don't touch it. K, I will leave the stack of wet gold bullions in the mud. Nostalgia is a disease. This really takes me back. Feelings aren't facts. You don't know what you're doing, but neither does anyone else. A coworker once said to me, sometimes temporary discomfort is necessary to ensure long-term relief. We were discussing wiping a baby's stuffy nose, but it seems like a pretty good quote for life in general. You can't always control how you feel, but you can always control how you react to something. When I was struggling with friends' stuff as a teen, my dad said, always take the high road. It will give you distance from the problem and you'll be able to see things more clearly. It saved me from some ridiculous drama throughout the years. You can throw someone a rope when they need or ask for it. Whether they choose to pull themselves up or hang themselves with it is up to them. Always assume the person you're talking to knows something you don't. You only die once. And for such a long time. What matters most for career success is communication. I ignored that, figuring that being really good at what I do would ensure I was well employed. I am, and it does. But I'm limited in what I can do, in that having a large-scale impact requires effectively communicating ideas and vision with other people. It's unfortunate how much nepotism there is in the workforce. Sometimes being able to make people like you through communication makes you a better candidate for a position. I hate it. If you have to choose between being right and being kind, be kind. I have two that stick out. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I had to read that one a few times before I got it. My auntie told me as a teen. The world does not stop turning just because you have a broken heart from a death in the family. That one sticks out to me because my mom doesn't know how to deal with grief, and I didn't know how to deal with this for a long time. Do or do not. There is no try. It could always be worse. You could get kicked in the nuts. What's the point of living in the past when everyone you know will be long gone anyway? If two stupid people have the same IQ and one of them knows they are stupid but the other thinks they are a genius, the one who knows how stupid they are is wiser and less likely to be a pain in the ass. He who laughs last, laughs best. My mechanic teacher told me this. I'd love to know what other people's interpretation of this quote is. My humble interpretation, having the last laugh is about karma, so he who laughs is laughing because they see karma bitch slapping the other, hence them having the best laugh. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. They asked me who the most important person in the world was. I answered, the President of the United States. I was 8. He replied, no silly, you are the most important person in the world. I'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed.